Welcome everybody to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. Now 1 Million by 1 Million, as most of you probably know since you're here, is a virtual incubator. We operate globally with companies all over the world. And our goal is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue by 2020. And that goal can only succeed if all of you who are here, assuming you're all either entrepreneurs, practicing entrepreneurs, or aspiring entrepreneurs, you need to be successful. Our agenda is to make you successful, and that's the only way we will be successful in achieving what we want to achieve. So everything we do is to help you achieve your goals. This is our 145th session. So you can imagine we've been here for a long, long time. This is a free roundtable, and we've been doing these free roundtables since we started tinkering with it in the fall of 2008 when my first book came out, the first Entrepreneur Journeys book. And a friend of mine who was doing a startup called DimDim, which later Salesforce.com acquired, and they had this web conferencing system. And he said, Sramana, why don't you do some book readings over our platform? And I looked at it and I said, well, I'm not sure if I want to do book readings, but maybe I can do some coaching, mentoring of entrepreneurs using this platform. So Maureen and I started playing with this platform, and in due course, the Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs from 1M1M, which is now on its 145th session, came about. And then 1M1M also came about in 2010. In 2008, 1M1M didn't exist in its current form either. So that's a little bit of history for those of you who have followed us for a little while. Now you will have a recording of the roundtable available, and you can share it, or you can play it back to refer back to what was discussed. If you are live tweeting the show, please use hashtag 1M1M. And our Twitter handles are at 1M by 1M and at Sramana. So you're welcome to follow those as well. Those are all very high content-rich channels. We are going to start with Kimbra. Kimbra Orr is doing Kimbra Studios, and Kimbra, by the way, is a 1M1M Premium member. So we're going to spend quite a bit of time with her today. Normally, Premium members use the private roundtables. Now, I'm leaving for India for 3 weeks, so we do not have a private roundtable in the next couple of weeks. We had one on Tuesday, but we don't have for a couple of weeks. So this roundtable we're also using to work with some of our premium members, and Kimbra is here from the program. Kimbra, it's over to you, and you can take as much time as you need to. No need to rush.
Thank you, Sramana. Thank you. One thing I'd like to talk with you about, I heard you speak last week about segmentation and being really clear on the market that you're going after. Mm-hmm. And what I'd like to do is get your thoughts and insight on direction that we're going in, because we're going through a fairly significant change. Mm-hmm. One of the first thing that I am looking to do is really increase exposure of the brand. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, what we've been doing in the past is quite a bit of OEM or white label work, which I still want to continue doing because those are the big accounts that bring in revenue. Mm-hmm. So that is great, and I want to continue down that road.
Just a second, before you carry on, let's give everybody else in the room who is listening to your presentation a very quick overview of what you do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to follow the discussion.
Sure. What we offer is custom photo gifts, mostly jewelry, but we also get into gifts such as ornaments and keychains and belt buckles, all types of great personalized gifts that are higher end, and customers upload their images through our website, and we reproduce and seal them into a waterproofed piece that with the jewelry, it's a high-end solid sterling line, and all of our products are just available through website mostly, and then also through our OEM partners.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so that is a quick overview of the product, but yeah, getting back to the brand. So that's the first thing I want to do is really work on increasing brand awareness and becoming more internationally recognized for personalization overall, not just within photo. So I'm moving into a new collection that opens up some other areas without losing focus on the photo portion of it. The second thing...
What is the other area that you're moving into?
So I want to move into personalization as a whole. So giving people an opportunity to really, you know, I think that personalization is a huge untapped market to me. It is, yes, photos are a part of personalization, but I just feel that it's much bigger than that. I feel like it's an industry all its own, not just within jewelry, but items for the home and for the bedroom, and moving beyond just monograms. I think a lot of people, when they think of personalization, they think of putting their monogram on something, and I believe it's much bigger than that. I think it's whatever people are passionate about, whatever. Some people are into numerology, or they may be into, I mean, there's so many ways to personalize things with things that you love or that you're passionate about beyond photographs and monograms. So that's the direction that we're going into with the new line.
And what are the product categories that you will be doing in the new line?
We're going to start out with the jewelry because that's what we're already doing. And the new line is going to be more of a solid pewter line. It's a beautiful, earthy line. So it's going to go very well with what we're already carrying. And it's moving into this bisque as well, which is a ceramic-based piece. It's, again, very earthy. So we're going to start out with the jewelry, moving into the home, again, focusing on the bedroom area personalization, and then down the road from that, stationery as well. And the reason I'm doing that, first of all, items for the home I have a lot of passion for. It's what I love. And there's also a lot of buzz within the photo gifting industry with items for the home. So I believe it's a...
What about manufacturing? What does that do to your manufacturing process?
Yes, so that's the next point I'm really excited about. Last Friday I signed a manufacturing agreement with a company in California. I'm actually out here now meeting with them, which is wonderful. It frees up, for me, it frees up cash flow. I don't have the need to buy all of the inventory. They're taking that over for me. They are not a competitor. They do sell B2B. So we have kind of split up our accounts, which is wonderful. And it is just an incredible relationship. They already have their foot in the door of some of the people that we're trying to work with that you and I have talked about. So it makes integration with these big companies much easier. So I'm really excited about manufacturing and being able to get rid of that portion, not get rid of it, but you know, offset it so that I can focus more on the core competency of design.
Okay. So the workflow that you're moving towards is that you still work with the brands and the OEMs who use your designs or have you design these custom merchandise, and you take the orders, you pass on the order to the manufacturing partner that you have now done the deal with. They finish the manufacturing. Who does the shipping? Who does the drop ship? Does the manufacturer do the drop ship as well, or they can bring it back to you?
They do the drop ship as well.
They do the drop ship as well. Okay, so that simplifies your logistics greatly.
Greatly, and it's payroll and rent and all of those things for me. It just makes a huge impact on the business. So I'm very, very excited about it, and they're a great partner for us. And one of the things, so what I want to do now is really focus on marketing and sales for the brand, but then also this design portion of the business. You know, not everything with design will have to necessarily do with photo products. So there's a question on do I establish a separate entity with the design business? I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
No, I am not crazy about disjointed businesses, Kimbra. You know, you've been working with me for quite a while now. You know that I'm not crazy about disjointed businesses. If you don't develop a core competency and stay within a core competency, you completely dilute your focus, you dilute your brand, people don't know what to do with you, and you're too small a business to have multiple entities.
Right. Okay.
So I am not at all in favor of having a design studio that is separate from your, photo jewelry design business or photo merchandise design business. None of them will succeed. If you go at that rate, none of them will succeed.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so then we will move forward.
The real question you should focus on is a segmentation question, is that where do you want to put your focus in terms of, marketing and biz dev, and what are you going after? What are the targets?
The targets, first of all, again, I want to secure a couple of these large accounts that I've been working on, and one of them I have for fourth quarter, so that's wonderful. And then another one I'm talking with this morning, which is going to be great. So I feel like the large OEM accounts are happening. So that's kind of one of my focuses, and the other one is really building the retail, B2C business of ours. And
hold on. Let's B2B for a moment. What's happening at Flickr?
Flickr? I am not doing Shutterfly?
No, Flickr. Have you talked to Flickr?
No. I'm not aware of Flickr.
You should. Flickr? You're not aware of Flickr? Flickr?
No, I'm not aware that that you have a contact within Flickr.
No, I don't have a contact with Flickr, but I think you should look into Flickr. Part of the reason being, you know that Yahoo has had a CEO change, right?
Yes.
And from what I've heard, and you're going to need to double check and verify this, that Flickr is staying in as a core property at Yahoo, which means that they will need to figure out how to monetize that better.
Okay.
Yahoo's problem, like the problem of many of the media companies, is monetization.
Mm-hmm.
I introduced you to Mail Online, right? ANN Media. They have one of the largest female demographic reach, but their problem is monetization. All of these companies are trying to find revenue channels, which is where an e-commerce business like yours, where you do revenue share deals, is very, very attractive.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I asked you about, or we talked a little bit about like Instagram or Google just purchased Snapseed from Nick Software. Those programs, it seems like Instagram is such a great avenue for people to do things with their photographs, but they're not doing, I don't believe, as far as I know, they're offering photo gifts. So
go talk to them and see what they think about starting to offer photo gifts. Again, the same problem. Instagram has no revenue model.
Right. And it's like Apple has, when you go to iPhoto or you go to your phone, you can purchase things like a photo book.
Yeah.
But they're, and I think that's the start of it. It's just at some point why, I see them branching out into other offerings. And
have you talked to Apple?
I have tried to talk with Apple. I'm not getting very far. So I think they have had some interest, but I don't know that I'm talking to the right people.
Yeah, so in all of these cases, since these are large organizations, the biz dev works when you talk to the right people.
Right.
All of us who, do navigation inside of a large company, and this, by the way, what I'm talking about right now, many of you in the room are probably facing, right? If you're trying to work with a large company partner, very often this problem occurs, is that you think that you're talking to Apple, but you're probably talking to a very different group in Apple than who's responsible. So you're really going to need to understand the organization structure of Apple, and go after the people who are actually in charge of this particular area. So you have to find people, maybe the general manager of their photo merchandise business or that kind of. So one thing we do in our organization we do is use LinkedIn Premium to do this research and to find who's the right person, and oftentimes that is a very good way to find out who's in there. And then also obviously networks, right? Networks. I am connected to people at Apple, so if you go through me to somebody at Apple, you're welcome to do that. It's not a problem. Or at Yahoo, if I'm connected to someone, you want to reach out and ask the question, who is in charge of this business? And I'd love to talk to somebody in this business. Those are all mechanics of trying to get to the right person, but there is never going to be a deal in any of these accounts unless you can start talking to the right people.
Right. Right, and I agree. I think LinkedIn is a great way, and it's interesting sometimes how people will lead you to where you need to be with them. Yeah, so, okay, thank you for that.
Offer something compelling and credible, generally people are quite comfortable introducing you in LinkedIn.
Okay,
now,
wonderful.
One thing I would like you to do is really make a list of all, now that the manufacturing and logistics issues that you were trying to offload, so to speak, to an outsourcing partner. Now that that is done, you really need to focus on the biz dev and have everybody who is in your target audience listed and fully researched and figure out who is the right person, and you need to go to them and close these deals. You have, from experience, I have introduced you to people who are relevant in your target audience, and you have always got good positive response from them. So
yes.
Have something which generally elicits good response. It's something that is directly valuable, and for companies that are trying to monetize and not able to monetize their traffic, and this is strategic to their needs, I believe you will get good response. Now, I introduced you to Susan at ANN Media. When I introduced you, she had only been in her job for 8 days.
Okay.
Her charter within ANN Media is to generate e-commerce revenues. So this is the affiliate deals with merchants is exactly the kinds of deals that they are looking to do. And in fact, in photo, they have a special focus. So I actually discussed, I was in London. When I introduced you, I was in London. I spoke with her about you, and she said she would like to look at what you're offering. And they are interested in kind of, good. Their numbers they have the law of large numbers. So if you can work out a commission structure that is really attractive for them, and the workflow works, I think you will be able to do a deal with ANN Media.
Very good.
And if you need help there, I have very strong contacts in there, strong influence. They're a partner of ours. So that's one that you should be able to close.
And just stay communicating with Susan then for now. I haven't heard back, but I will check in with her then if I didn't realize she was
follow up. One thing, here's another little, tip for all of you who are doing sales and biz dev. You have to every single one of your leads in a CRM system with tasks set up to follow up every 2 weeks. This is what we do. This is what most people who do serious sales and business development do. Is if they're every 2 weeks you need to follow up, because people, especially people in large organizations, have many, many, many different things going on in their lives. So if you don't follow up, you fall off their radar. If they've missed your email, they will not come back to you unless you prod them.
Very good. What CRM system, do you have a preference?
We are using Zoho. It's very inexpensive, very well designed, and
okay. So then the next thing that I am working on is our new website, and
You want me to move your slides?
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to move your slides?
You can. you can. I'm not. I didn't finish one of the sentences in one of the points, so I didn't know if you wanted to use it or not. But yeah, let's go to the goals page.
Okay. Hard to read. This kind of fonts don't work.
Yeah, I did it rather quickly. So under the fourth point, we're finishing up our new website, and the thing about our new website is it's not the dream site that I want, but it enables us to integrate with these large accounts that we're talking to easily. So we can receive high volume orders easily, and they can talk to our manufacturer easily. So in that respect, it's a great website. I don't believe it's a great website moving forward into our retail area, where we really want to get into more social media and online visibility, SEO, things like that. I would love if you have any ideas or contacts of somebody that's really good at web development, web marketing, social media, all of those things.
You know, yeah, the answer is yes, but we've kind of decided not to make these recommendations of vendors, because we have had some, we made some referrals to members, and member-to-member referrals, and in a couple of cases they got into disputes, and we don't have any ways of resolving these disputes. We're not part of the negotiation, we're not part of any of the other process. All we do is refer somebody, and then if the vendor and the client gets into a dispute, we just don't have any way of resolving this. So I would suggest you go to Elance or Odesk, in one of those companies' sites, and find what you're looking for through their platforms, because they do have the dispute resolution mechanisms, they do have the references. You will find lots of references. If you need to talk to references, you can talk to references, and they have a more they're more equipped to deal with this kind of stuff than we are today.
Okay. All right. Very good.
But this, 99 Designs, if you're looking for pure web design, 99 Designs is a great place where you can see how people, how they do design, and you can see mock-ups and stuff before hiring somebody. If you're looking for web development, then you're going to need to look in more of the Elance or freelancer.com, VWorker, Odesk kind of sites. Same with SEO. And social media. So there are lots of service providers in each of those places.
Okay.
You can certainly find some, good ones through that. But I'm just I know a lot of people who do good work, but, if something happens, I don't know how to resolve those disputes.
Okay. Very good. So that kind of covers everything. Without getting into the new collection, I don't know that we need to go into the new collection. I think that I need to just really focus the next few months, the end of the year, focus on, like you're saying, biz development, closing these deals that I have in the works, and really getting our new website up and running, and figuring out if we need to do another separate site for retail, or if we're going to be okay with what we have. And then still moving forward with the new collection, trying to announce that or launch that at the beginning of the year with one exclusive partner. The new collection, Sramana, is going to be branded. Mm-hmm. So my thought is to focus on one exclusive photo gifting supplier. One of the bigger names, I'd like to just carry it with one company as my thought, and then do it retail as well. Do you have thoughts on that?
And when you say you're going to do a new exclusive collection, so these are the frames and the settings that are going to be exclusive. The jewelry, the photos, of course, are going to be custom, right?
Right. If you want to go to the third slide, we'll go into that one. This new collection that I'm working on is different than our current collection. We're focusing on made in the United States. It's a solid pewter versus a solid sterling line. So the cost is less for inventory and things like that, but the look of it It's still very high quality, so it has a great feel to it, and I don't think we have to go down in price a lot, which is great. We're going to move not just, we're going to feature photos, yes, but we're going to move into stamps, letters, and numbers, symbols, sayings, a lot of things that detail personalization for people, and moving into what they are passionate about. Again, it's what I talked about a little while ago. And I don't want to go into it a lot because it's a really exciting idea. But also getting into more the men's markets and younger demographics, and that's where if we could partner up with, again, a larger.
Where you're getting into very kind of out of segment, all over the place territory. Now you're starting to spray and pray, and I really have a problem with that.
Okay.
You have a very small business, Kimbra, and this business is minimally penetrated in the female demographic. Now you're trying to go to male, you're trying to go here, there, and everywhere. I just don't know how you do that unless you close some of these partnerships where you can access large numbers. You know, to do this in retail is going to cost you a fortune. Customer acquisition costs are going to be so high.
Yeah, and when I say retail, for me, it is more our B2C customers. So we're going more straight to the consumer, not
That's what I'm saying. That customer is much more expensive to acquire.
Right. And the reason I go into like younger demographics and males is because I keep hearing we need more products, you know, for the home. We need more, which is great. And I think the home is okay because it's still, you're right. I hear what you're saying. I think the home is still after the same demographic as our jewelry is.
Yeah. I wouldn't go male. I think it would be a mistake to go male because the site does not look male. You know, branding is a very tricky thing if you try to cater to multiple audiences.
Okay. Okay, very good.
I mean, trying to do something, think about it, trying to do your site with a branding that is going to appeal to male and female in the category of photo jewelry and you know, personalized, you know, merchant jewelry and home. I just don't see how that is viable with these, you know, spread out demographics. I think you should leave the idea of doing anything with men completely out.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, very good. Very good. And that's all I have right now, Sramana. So thank you so much.
Please follow up on Susan and let me know what happens there.
Okay, I will do that.
If there's anything I need to do, you need to flag me because I'm not sitting here thinking that, oh, I need to follow Susan about Kimbra unless you tell me that I need to do that.
I understand totally. So I will do so. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. The next presenter is, Green Hero, Boris Ristov. Boris, yes. Would you unmute your line and come and tell us what Green Hero is?
Gladly. Green Hero is a web platform to stop global warming.
And where are you dialing from?
From Sofia, from Bulgaria.
Oh wow, that's very cool.
Quite far from you.
Yes, but that's what we love about these sessions. You know, we have people coming from all over the world, and that's what's the beauty of this session, these platform is that we can work with everybody all over the world.
Exactly. So I mean, if you go on the first slide, really we put it all here.
Okay.
Really, we want to stop global warming.
You could speak a little more clearly. We are having a little trouble hearing you. So if you're on speaker,
is that better now?
It's a little better, yeah.
Is it okay? Basically, what we want to do is stop global warming. We're quite passionate about it, and I mean, it does sound awfully arrogant to say that we can do it, given that the current, let's say, framing of everyone by the media is that this is quite impossible to do, even in the next 40 years. But if you really drill down in the numbers, it's not that hard. It doesn't seem that hard. The way we want to do it is to facilitate a process where users or people or small companies, medium companies, can calculate their carbon footprint and then use our platform to basically offset this footprint with carbon credits from global carbon reduction projects. Now, I don't know how familiar people are or you are with this whole business. I mean, at least in California, there is some good coverage since they have a carbon scheme there running right now. So
summarize, just in 2 minutes, you can summarize what carbon neutralization is. I am aware, but maybe other people are not. So
sure. So every person and every small business equally, we pollute. I mean, not directly, but with our electricity, heating bills, with our flights, driving our cars, not separating our trash, etc., etc. I mean, everything we do produces some carbon emissions somewhere, be it at the level of the product development, be it at the direct level where you just turn on your lights and this uses electricity, where the power plant, which burns coal or gas, produces for you, and then this is how it produces carbon emissions. What neutralization or offsetting means is that, I mean, people can't stop polluting. Obviously, you can't stop living. And even if you introduce a lot of sort of even draconian measures into your lifestyle, like exchange your light bulbs with energy efficient ones, your appliances, even if you stop driving your car and go on bicycle. I mean, some things are practical, some are not really practical. And even people who try and do this, you can, let's say, if your average footprint is 10 tons or 20 tons, like in the case of the United States per annum, per person, you can maybe go down 1 or 2 tons in total with all your measures. So what you need to do in order to go neutral or to go to zero, the easiest way is to purchase a carbon credit from a project which has reduced 1 ton of emissions somewhere else. The way it works is, let's say you have someone goes and builds a wind farm in India. This wind farm, all else equal, starts to produce clean electricity, and you reduce the local thermal power plant's output by that much. So you have a physical reduction in emissions, and this reduction is verified by international bodies like the SGS and the TÜVs and independent certification bodies. They go to this wind farm, which has been operating, let's say, for 1 year already, and they say, yes, you have produced that many kilowatt or megawatt hours of clean electricity, which means you have physically reduced that many tons of carbon emissions, your project. So we're going to give you this document which says you have reduced, let's say, 100,000 tons, and you can go to one of the several international standards which basically issue the carbon credits, which check all this and issue the carbon credits. These are, for instance, the Gold Standard Foundation, the Verified Carbon Standard. You have the another standard which is quite popular in the States, which is the CAR, the Climate Action Reserve, etc., etc. So you have all these standards which check these projects, and once they receive this document that something has been done, they issue these carbon credits in the name of the respective project owner, let's say the wind farm owner in India. And in order to help themselves for the investment they've done, they take these credits and they sell them on the market. So the carbon market generally is it's separated into several areas, and on slide number 5, I have put some data showing this. Our aim is to go
forward.
Yeah, just go 2 slides down the road. Yes, exactly. So these are some statistics. I won't go into much detail about these statistics, but our aim is to go after the voluntary carbon market, which really means you have a carbon reduction project which has the credits, and you have people or companies which voluntarily want to purchase these credits in order to neutralize or offset their own emissions. There is a much larger market, which is the mandatory market, which is not based on physical reductions in carbon emissions based on projects. Rather, people, let's say large polluting installations, they receive allowances. So a carbon credit is not equal to an allowance. I mean, both are equalized to 1 ton of carbon dioxide equivalent, but the one is just the permission to emit, which doesn't really mean you don't emit, and the other is really a reduction. So this is the one key difference. So we want to go after these projects which really reduce carbon emissions, and connect these projects with people and companies who can or would want to purchase these in order to offset their own footprint. So this is basically, in a nutshell, the market we are operating in, and our platform is in the middle, basically linking these two.
Okay.
Now, we are aware of something which is quite unfortunate, but it's real, that a lot of people want to actually do something about, let's say, the climate or stopping global warming, but not very many of them want to pay for this. And especially when what you need to pay for is something like a carbon credit, which is not something which you can take in your hand and look at it, right? You can't smell it, touch it, eat it. It's something which is, so the product is not very, very straightforward for many people. I mean, a lot of people, regardless if you're in the States, in Asia, in Europe, a lot of people don't really know what a carbon credit is. And frankly, a lot of people think it's some kind of a government or political scheme just to take their money. So our platform, just to go back to that, facilitates these, let's say, the purchase of these carbon credits. Now, the way we...
Question here.
Sure.
The business that you're trying to create here, this exchange, it is going to be largely a B2B exchange, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily. I would reckon it should be more B2C with an element of B2B when you include small companies into B2B.
I'm not sure I buy that. I don't agree with that analysis of the business. I'd like to hear what leads you to that conclusion. From what I know about the carbon credit business, it is exactly the way you described. You know, people who produce clean energy generate carbon credits, which people who produce dirty energy or whatever, dirty products, environmental products, buy those credits. And it's usually not only a B2B business, it's kind of a relatively large B2B business, isn't it?
Correct. This is the way the market works right now. And bear in mind, about 85% of the global market happens in Europe. And our team, we've been basically part of this market for the past 2 years, running just a standard carbon brokerage business, which really does that. It's in the mandatory carbon market. It connects, let's say, a cement plant in Bulgaria with whatever German power producer in Germany, and then whoever has less or more allowances to trade with, we facilitate trading. The unfortunate consequences, this is basically the reason why we started Green Hero, is that this system, let's say, since the Kyoto Protocol was signed, which was about 17 or 20 years ago, the goal was from then until, let's say, now or until 2020, for the global, let's say, European or global carbon emissions to go down. What has happened, even with all of this industry being active, is that global emissions since 1995 are up 50%. And just to give you a number, last year the global carbon market, which includes the project-based carbon market, basically the trading part of it, which is spot futures, etc., was worth about 175 billion euros. I mean, the majority of which is in Europe, but it doesn't really matter. The potential for this to grow is huge, but it kind of grows in the wrong direction because you spend a lot of money to not have an impact and not reduce emissions. And that's quite disturbing.
Well, I think part of the problem is that the carbon emissions in China and in India are very high. In most of the developing nations, it's very high, and not that much is being done about it. So I think your point that there is a much larger opportunity to pull this together and to make it a smoother market and much more active market in carbon trading is very well taken. But my point is, I think it's a B2B market, not a B2C market.
Well, currently it is basically 99% a B2B market. The thing is that being a B2B market, the whole market did not start based on supply and demand, which is one very big difference to other products and markets. The market started because there was let's say, a European legislative contract or a European directive which says there is a market. And you people, let's say these are 12,000 industrial and power plants, let's say in Europe, you are in this market. I mean, we're not asking, you're just in this market. So now you accept it and you start working under it. And this, obviously, there are different kinds of markets, the project-based, the allowance-based, etc. I don't want to get into much of this detail because it will take a long time, but the market started top-down, and people have been trying to maintain it top-down, even today, which doesn't work. The problem is that with Kyoto, you had 190 countries got together to agree on, let's say, reducing emissions in each of these countries. Imagine what you need in order for 190 countries to unify under one goal and to agree on something. This is statistically very close to impossible. And imagine what they got to about 180 something, which agreed on one thing. The problem was that the ones that didn't agree were the States, China, India, Canada, Russia, so it really mitigated everyone else's efforts. Yeah, this is just an anecdote which is real, but you can see what you need to do in order to have a global market. So we've seen that the top-down approach does not work, and we said, look, scrap this. Let's start bottom up. Let's get the people to do it, and let's see if the numbers actually make sense. I mean, do you need every person living on Earth to spend $1,000 to stop global warming? No, that's not the case. When you run the numbers for the whole market, you come up with a number which is actually quite surprising, that let's say about 4 to 5% of the developed world population can solve the whole problem by spending whatever, $150 or $200 per annum. And the developed world
you want to put the polluters from the developing world, and you want the more aware people in the developed world to pay $200 to $500 in buying carbon credits. And
no, actually not. I want to exclude the polluters altogether from this. The polluter, a power plant will not stop burning coal or gas, right? They just won't. They might pay a little bit more, and the way it works in Europe, let's say, they say, okay, we are polluting and we need to buy some carbon credits to basically pay for the fact that we're polluting. And what happens? They buy the credits, and guess what happens with the retail electricity price? Goes up a little bit, so that the people are paying for this anyway. So the cost of carbon is in everything you do in your life. I mean, it's in the flights, it's in indirectly, it's in your heating bill, in your electricity bill, in the products you eat. It doesn't matter. People are paying for this now indirectly. So what we want to do is actually to reverse this process and say, look, people can calculate and offset their own emissions very, very easily by spending, actually I said between 150 and 200, not 500 is actually way higher, dollars per annum, and that's it. I mean, figure you have a electricity bill or a phone bill in your life, and then figure you have which are actually probably much higher than this in many places, and then you have a carbon bill, and the carbon bill includes not your phone service, for instance, but the services that your garbage gets recycled and burned, and there are no greenhouse gases emitted, that the local electricity comes from a wind park or a solar rooftop, etc., etc., etc. I mean, that there is a new forest on a dry land somewhere. It doesn't matter. All of this comes together in this single unit, which is the carbon credit. This is how the market has been structured. This is sort of the currency in this market.
You want to take the clean producers and take their carbon credits and sell it to the consumers. Then that's what you're saying.
Yes, and to small businesses, because it's easier. I mean, large companies do this. For instance, Google has been carbon neutral since 2007. They do this. I mean, they calculate their own footprint. they take measures to reduce the footprint, but if you get into the numbers, you see that even if they go like half of their data rooms, even if they're powered by solar, still you go down about 20% from their whatever carbon total carbon emissions. So the rest they buy carbon credits for, and the carbon credits they buy from a project which has reduced these tons or which has produced these credits somewhere else. And that's it. I mean, large companies do it, like, I don't know, big brands like L'Oreal, Intel does it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of companies are starting to do it. Companies that are not part of a respective carbon market in any one country, just on a pure voluntary basis. And if you take this thing to smaller companies or medium companies and to people, the whole system will shift from basically you can't do anything about it because it's a top-down approach to it's very easy to do something about it, and then it's a matter of numbers to get enough projects invested into globally, which physically reduce carbon emissions, and then that's it.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, I got a little bit more into this the market, but the product is such that you can't really explain it in 10 seconds. So what do we do on the platform? We have created. We launched a week ago, by the way, and we sort of introduced the platform to a. I mean, the platform is live. You can log in and check out what it does. We're doing a user experience improvement currently, which will be done in about 10 days, which will streamline the whole process. But our idea is for people to be able to log in, sign up, calculate their footprint, or if they don't want to calculate the footprint because it really takes some effort to find out your electricity bills and get the numbers down, you can pick your country's average, which is actually quite easy. Let's say it's about 17 tons for the United States. You just pick 17 tons. It immediately shows you how much this means in terms of money, and then what you do is you choose a project, or what we've done, we've bundled projects together based on either a region or a particular technology, projects which are real and are operating currently, and they reduce carbon emissions every year. And they have credits which people can buy from. So this is what the platform does. But we don't stop here. So it's not like you go, you offset your footprint, and then you leave and come back next year to do the same thing. We wanted to keep people involved, so we've created a let's say a reward mechanism a little bit. We've tried to gamify the system a little bit, and we've done only a very limited job in this. I mean, a lot more will be done in the next months. But when people sign up, they receive their own whatever invitation ID or code, which they can use then to get their friends and other people to join. And when other people join and offset their own footprint, first of all, and the most important part is that you get a higher impact, so more carbon emissions are reduced physically. And then people get points based on this. And it's not a simple referral process where you, let's say, if I tell you, then you get whatever $1 in terms of points or something. There are a lot of algorithms and a quite balanced but complicated system which is behind the way it rewards, the way it allocates rewards in a whole group of people who are using the site. And these rewards, basically, we said let's introduce an element of fun here. So these rewards you accumulate, and then based on your activity, you also go up in levels. Imagine like a game. So you get the experience points and then you get your leveling up. And by doing so, you unlock different rewards and different special rewards. So first of all, you can use your points to get items on the website. Let's say for let's say a very small number of points, you can get a solar lamp or like an eco T-shirt or eco golf balls, everything eco or clean tech, all of the products. And then when you go up in points, so when you are more active and the people you told they're active, etc., you go up to whatever, electric bicycle, electric motor, electric vehicles, like you have all the Tesla models, for instance, you have the Volts, you have electric supercars, and then ultimately our idea is to offer a Virgin Galactic flight to space when you reach the final levels of the game, so to say. Yeah, because our vision is that by then the impact will be so big that the people who reach this level, we want to put them on a shuttle, go up in space, look down, and see what they've done, basically, with the place. Look at the positive impact. That's the vision. So
we're kind of way over time. Can you tell me quickly what issues that you need input on quickly?
The way we want to develop it, you mean?
Yeah. What do you want from? What do you want input from me on?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, we're based in Bulgaria, and we know well the European market, but we're not exactly sure how people on the street take the global warming issue. Is it really an issue for people or not? This is one thing. And then the way we want to grow the user base, we're now in the phase where we've launched a week ago, and now we want to get the initial beta version users until we go live. And our business development will go similar to the previous presenter, by doing deals with different websites, different green NGOs, green people, green activists, etc., on one hand, and by allowing them to run their own campaigns, for instance, on the website, etc., by using our modules. This is one
model. What is your business model, and how, when you partner with people? In the case of Kimbra, she has, she sells merchandise, so she can do revenue share deals with these partners.
Right.
What is your business model, and then you share that revenue with the partners?
Okay, so the business model in this case, for instance, would be Kimbra has a small business. She can have a, let's say, call it a campaign on the website, where she says, look, our product, and this is not so hard to calculate, producing our products has this amount of footprint. And we can brand our products as being carbon neutral, which means whatever, if you sell something for $1, the additional cost to be carbon neutral will be whatever, a cent or two, for instance. So if the product sells as a carbon neutral, which is something like a CSR issue or branding effect, the money which she can charge in addition to this can accumulate into her campaign, and then will go via our platform to get the carbon credits for these projects. And then when you cancel the credits, you know that the products are carbon neutral. And then by driving the traffic, she will monetize in cash, not obviously not in rewards, but in cash. She will monetize this additional cents or whatever she can charge.
I have to tell you one thing that is going to be a real problem in your business, and you need to really work on this, is explaining things very simply. Look how long it takes to explain anything in what you're trying to do, and you are not going to be able to get people to work with you.
Right. Now, this,
unless you can make things a lot simpler. So one thing that really bothers me about this business is that it's too complicated, and it's very difficult. If it's that complicated, it's very difficult to get traction, especially a marketplace. If it's that complicated, it's not going to fly.
Yeah, we acknowledge this. As I said, unfortunately, it's not a bottle of mineral water where you can say this is what I'm selling and you can explain it in 5 seconds. I
can explain things much better, and that's where positioning, messaging, really clean positioning, clean messaging, clean, all this. These are art forms. In business, these are art forms. These are things that you need to do right, and you need to say things right, and that's part of what you need to do in kind of crafting this business. My philosophy of business is it's like a sculpture. You have to chisel every aspect of that business to make your masterpiece, your Michelangelo's David, come out of it. And this right now, it's kind of a pretty coarse stone. Your business proposition is still a pretty coarse stone.
Yeah, understood. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, this is.
I'm going to have to stop you. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I'm going to spend a few minutes quickly to let's actually quickly take a look at your challenges. All right. I'm going to explain to you how we work with people. Okay, how we work with entrepreneurs in 1M1M, and then hopefully that will help you determine, whether this program is for you or not. Anybody in the room, if you're trying to determine how to get help, this is how we help people. And before we do that, I request that if you found what we're doing here useful, please refer it to 10 serious entrepreneurs in your network. Boris, and if you find our service helpful, let another 10 entrepreneurs in Sofia know that we exist and that they can come and work with us.
Yeah, sure. I mean, by the way, I was actually referred to you by another local entrepreneur, so this is how I got to know you.
That's great. That's great, because this is a very high value resource. Nothing like this exists anywhere in the world, and
right.
It's really a matter of letting people know that you can use this as a free resource. You should use it.
Okay.
All right. So here's a quick summary of how we will be working with you if you decide to join the program. All your exploration will start at 1m1m.com, and there's a lot more information there. Let me give you a summary. First and foremost, we have a comprehensive blog where we provide lots of free information, including case studies and trend information and so forth. You're very welcome to use that blog. And there's also Entrepreneur Journeys book series, which is where we start synthesizing some of our methodology. And the books, the Entrepreneur Journeys books, there are 4 volumes of it. All of them are available on Amazon, Kindle, and in India from Flipkart. Amazon and Kindle ship internationally or available internationally. There are 2 cornerstone philosophies of the program, bootstrapping and positioning, that we really focus hard on. And those are two aspects of building a business that you will absolutely need to master if you want to succeed in building a company today. The blog is at sramanamitra.com. As I said, it's completely free. And then we have these free roundtables every Thursday as well. This is our 145th roundtable, and over 10,000 people have attended these roundtables. We've coached hundreds of entrepreneurs, and we've been doing this for a long time. So we have a very good understanding of what are the issues of early stage entrepreneurs. And one thing we've done as part of our premium program, which is a $1,000 annual membership fee for unlimited access and usage, we've created a curriculum based on our understanding of what kinds of issues you are dealing with. And we've also been developing case studies of successful entrepreneurs since 2006. So over the last 6 years, we've developed the best collection of case studies anywhere in the world to address those issues. Entrepreneurship needs to be done brick by brick. You have to build a company brick by brick. Very rarely do you have something that kind of takes off without that brick by brick effort. There are some, Instagram, for instance, had a big stroke of luck, but that's usually not the case. You have to build your business, you have to generate revenues. Instagram had no revenues, they just had an exit. In a way, that is not a business, really. A business is one that has revenues, that has customers, that has revenues, that has profits, and that's what we teach you to do, is to build a business. So the curriculum is very powerful and will help you really get a grasp of all the aspects that you need to get a grasp of. Then we also do private versions of these roundtables that are members only. And we help you with business development, whether it's customer introductions, channel partner introductions. You heard me talking to Kimbra about her potential business development deal with a company that I've introduced her to, and others that she needs to get into. I've introduced her to many companies, actually, and some of them she has been able to close deals with. So that's part of the service, and it's all covered in that membership fee. And then we also help you with financing if your business is fundable. Not all businesses are fundable, and that's all fine. We are okay if your business is not fundable and if you just want to bootstrap a business. But if your business is fundable and if you want to raise money, we will help you with that as well. So, and then we do a lot of work in media and PR. So, we believe that PR is a very important piece of building a business, because people need to know what you're offering. Otherwise, they won't use your product because they don't know that you exist. PR is an essential piece of capitalism. All right, so the other thing I would point you to is the 1M1M self-assessment. It's a 7-point questionnaire, and it takes you through some of the core elements that you need to learn and address in your business strategy. And if you're a premium member, you will have pointers to all the curriculum modules that are related to those so that you can plug your knowledge gaps there. So that's 1m1m.com. Other places you can look, on the top right corner, there are a bunch of buttons, premium program, the FAQ, video FAQs, we have video messages. Those are very useful to learn the program, what we are all about, what to expect from the premium program explains in more detail. Our methodology, remember, is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. We don't do highly capital intensive deals, like we don't do, big solar plants. We don't do big chips that would take $40 million to get off the ground. That's not our sweet spot. Our sweet spot is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. The curriculum will teach you 7 core modules. And you have to learn these. To build a business, you have to learn these: bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing, customer validation, customer acquisition, team building. You must understand every bit of all of these things to build a business. And then we have electives, which is where we have most of our businesses, Web 3.0 and e-commerce, even your carbon trading business is essentially an e-commerce marketplace. So that falls within the category of Web 3.0 and e-commerce. Kimbra's business is a Web 3.0 and e-commerce business. Cloud computing is very big. We see a lot of cloud computing businesses, outsourcing and consulting, mobile and social apps, healthcare IT, online education, gaming. These are all, core areas where we have elective modules, and you can learn from those. As I said, we teach the program in form of video lectures and case studies of hundreds of successful entrepreneurs. And we also have an affiliate program. So if you're in a geography and you're trying to do entrepreneurship development for your geography, you're most welcome to become an affiliate of the 1M1M program. We have a whole bunch of roundtables coming up. October 26th, I'm actually giving a keynote in the morning at the TiCon Kerala, and then we're going to have a pitch fest in the afternoon. November 1st is the Kolkata Pitch Fest. November 8th, 15th, and 29th are regular pitch fests in, not pitch fests, but regular roundtables like this one. So if you're looking for, a slot to pitch in one of the free roundtables, sign up for November 8th, 15th, or 29th. And more about the Kolkata Pitch Fest are on your screen. That's on November 1st. And if you want to pitch there are 6 scholarships that are being awarded at that session. The application deadline is this weekend. Please make sure you get your applications in. And then TiCon Kerala Pitch Fest is on October 26th. Also 6 scholarships are going to be given out. That's it. I can try to take a couple of questions, but I'm kind of out of time today.
No worries.
If you have questions, do it very quickly.
It was very helpful to me as well. I mean, obviously there's a lot more to say, but our plan is we are in intense product development right now. We're going to be attending a sort of startup funding conference in Vienna in about 2 weeks, where we're going to meet also with funding, with VCs, etc., etc. So we'll see how we'll just take it, as you said, brick by brick, and see how we do our business development one deal by the other. So we will see what works and what not, and we'll just adjust.
Good.
But I will certainly, I've explored, I've looked at the website, I've explored parts of it, read whatever the questionnaires, etc. So I will do a lot more in terms of, I'll see what it does and how time intensive it is, because frankly, developing the whole product takes about 25 hours per day. So it's, I will see how I can manage to get to read a little bit more, but this is a very good program, I think, and I'll surely refer it at least. And
one thing, if you are designing a product without doing the kinds of things that I'm asking you to do, the positioning, all the pieces of crafting the business, you may not be designing the right product, because positioning is a very important piece. And if you develop a product without doing the positioning, you're never going to design the right product. Remember that. That
yep.
is a very common mistake early stage entrepreneurs make.
Right. Okay.
All right. Okay, folks. Quickly, if in the public chat, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask those questions. But we're going to need to wrap up quickly because I really need to get out of here and catch my flight to India. All right. Looks like there are no questions, so I'm going to wrap up the session today. Thank you for attending, and we'll see you shortly. I'll look forward to seeing some of you in person in Calcutta or Kerala in the next few weeks, and then we'll meet you back here for the November roundtables. Talk to you soon.
Very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.